What is up, my fellow Separatists and Republic friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking Star Wars Brotherhood, the book that came out in May. I just got done reading through it for the second time. I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was very fun. I thought it had a lot to add to the story of Anakin and Obi-Wan and just the Star Wars story in general. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a fun story. I didn't quite like it as much as I liked Master and Apprentice, but Master and Apprentice was very good. But Anakin is still my favorite character, and he's very predominant in this one. There's a lot of character development added for him.
I'll get you. I got this, baby.
As well as there's a lot of character development between him and Obi-Wan's relationship. Anakin and Padme's relationship gets developed quite a bit as well in the story. And
You're not getting out of here alive, Jedi. Talk all you want.
okay.
I only need a few hits.
As well as the character development of Obi-Wan himself and actually seeing the person that Anakin's turning into, which is pretty cool too. You get to see a lot of how Anakin feels about his robotic hand, which is really interesting because it also adds to,
Hey now.
how much you know that he hates being in the suit as Darth Vader later in his life. And also how he figures out how to use the robotics in a way that actually benefits him instead of hurting him, which is also pretty cool. I also enjoyed the dynamic between the new characters that they add in the show, as well as it ends up being the first time that Anakin and Obi-Wan run into Ventress, which is also interesting. It's kind of an interesting thing, is like, it's the first time that Obi-Wan and Anakin run into Ventress. They don't know who she is at first. When Obi-Wan first runs into her, they don't know that, she's an ex-Jedi, a user of the Force, anything like that, which makes it very interesting, As well as just the fact that it's Obi-Wan and Anakin's essentially first mission away from each other, like it's the first time they have not been together. They've been Master and Apprentice for so long, for the last 7 years, 8 years.
Redistributing its inhabitants. This planet has failed to yield significant data or relics for Project Augur.
I don't see much
Its electromagnetic
trouble
winds have rendered the bulk
in the
of
book.
our
I
mining
really liked the
technology
book.
useless.
I
Meanwhile,
thought
more
that
stormtroopers lose their lives to dangerous fauna.
it
We
was
will not be able to fulfill our
beneficial
directives here. It is
to the
my
Star Wars universe.
recommendation that we disband the project and leave a token outpost to keep scavengers from stealing our technology.
And I really enjoyed it, for the most part.
The Jedi is here! Come on, hit him! He's going to end us all!
But I also thought that there's some very fun just aspects to the show, to the book. There were also a couple things I didn't like, but I'm not going to talk about those really, just because they were very minor, and also, like, after reading through it twice, you mostly just remember the things that you really like. But I think that overall the story is very compelling. The concept of you get to go to Cato de Moidia. You get to see how much that the Cato Nemoidians want to distance themselves from Newt Gunray and the Trade Federation, which is pretty interesting.
Cal, the Empire's pinpointed your location. You need to move fast.
On it. Thanks.
And you also get to see just the different aspects of the Kid-in-Waiting culture that you don't really get to see for the most part. I really enjoyed how even at the end of the book you see this, just the way that Palpatine is playing both sides. The book just is, it shows, and it's one of the first issues in the Clone Wars. Like, this is like mere months or maybe not even, mere months after Geonosis, after the first battle of Geonosis, and there's already hints that people aren't picking up that Palpatine's playing both sides, or that someone is playing both sides. And it really makes that line that Dooku says from the first Attack of the Clones, it makes that line very interesting, because it's like,
He's too quick!
Jedi, engage with caution.
You got it!
Attacking the enemy.
Has to slip up! Get the Jedi! Right, let's end it!
it makes the line that, like, the Dark Lord of the Sith rules the galaxy even now. Like, as, it's like, like in the shadows, like, Palpatine's always there. Like, and he's been there for a very long time. It's very interesting to just be like, how did no one pick up on this type thing, But no one did. Which is, like, how? And this book is like another one of those, like, how did no one figure out that, like, someone with the authority to, like, someone would have had to have
No
been
mention of
running
Brotherhood.
both sides,
I don't think the Empire knows he's been here.
Then we have the advantage. For
both
now.
sides of the war. Like there's this moment in the book where essentially they figure out that there's the bombing at Katasora was done with both Republic tactics and bombs, as well as Separatist tactics and bombs. And it's like, well, it obviously was someone that was trying to make it look like both sides were shooting. And at that point, like, isn't it, like, more likely that someone's running both sides than anything else? But yeah, Ventress is fun in the show, and the way that she does what she does, it just really gives you Clone Wars vibes. This whole book does.
We're on the right track.
It would have made a really good Clone Wars, would have made a really good Clone Wars kind of, probably not in one episode, maybe a full series, like a full, a story arc. That would have been pretty fun, I think.
Can't get through. There's a storm up ahead. Something about it crippled the Empire's equipment. I can feel something.
And I think that overall the book is really fun. I love the stuff that it talks about Anakin's mechanical hand. It talks about how he has trouble getting used to it because it moves nanoseconds slower, and it doesn't quite feel right. And like when he's trying to it talks about how it's why when we see him in the Clone Wars and beyond, he does a lot of one-hand lightsaber fighting, which is kind of like frowned upon by the Jedi because it's like overconfident. but he does it because his left mechanical hand moves differently than his right organic hand, and it makes fighting with two hands a little awkward because the left hand is just slightly behind, but the left hand also has way more power, which gives him like a weird like power combo with the slowing down. So then by the end of the book, he learns that like he can use both hands to do different things really well, and it actually improves himself as a fighter. But the whole book, he's complaining about his mechanical hand and how it doesn't feel the same, and how it's slower and it doesn't do exactly what he wants it to do every single time, and it's unreliable. And he's complaining about it, and then at the end, he finally figures it out that he doesn't have to calibrate it
Let
to.
the force sharpen your instinct.
He doesn't have to
All right.
calibrate
I'll do my best.
hand to his old fighting style. He needs to change his fighting style because he needs to get better at because he needs to get better at using it the way that it should be used, which is like always a very interesting way to look at things. Whoa, I did not see that guy. But also, there's fun stuff with that. There's fun references to Satine Kryze as well. Which is always interesting when there's fun. When there's fun things to Satine Kryze.
Another one of these. Wonder if they connect.
And also it makes the connections to Satine make Obi-Wan reevaluate what he's been noticing about Anakin and Padme too, which is kind of interesting. And the whole book is just a good. It's not something that's like, oh, this is like it's a must read to be a Star Wars fan. To me, it's like, if you really like the prequels and you really like the prequel characters and you want more of their story developed, then this is a great book.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It really does develop Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme and the Trade Federation and the Council, and it tells the story of how Obi-Wan got on the Council, how Anakin, how Obi-Wan and Yoda realized that maybe we should get Anakin a Padawan, which is kind of a fun concept as well. And it also shows Anakin that like him and Obi-Wan, maybe they're not the best master and apprentice together, but they are a really good team together, and they work with each other extremely well, and they're an unbridled, like no one can beat them as long as they're together type thing. And it's true, because at the end the only reason they're together is because they're fighting each other. It's a cool foreshadowing there too.
And the Empire?
No sign of them down here.
What about Cordova?
I have
Still not sure what I'm supposed to find.
I really liked the book. I highly recommend it.
Eccentric? Tell me about it. But he wouldn't send us here for the reason. Keep an open mind.
The bombing talks about a portion of Bridge City falling all the way down, and then the dynamic of Cato Nemoidia, and how Cato Nemoidians feel like they're treated like second-class citizens.
You see that?
Cato Nemoidians feel like they're treated like second-class citizens, and that they're treated for what the Trade Federation gives to the people of the world and not what they actually have to offer. Which is kind of like how some cultures feel if they're like a very business dominant culture or something like that. You know, like cultures will feel that way because they don't necessarily get treated with the same respect other than what they bring to, other than what they bring to the people who need them type situation. But there's an interesting dynamic between Ventress and the Kid Neimoidians, and Obi-Wan and the Kid Neimoidians, and Obi-Wan's actually there try to figure out
voices from the past.
Obi-Wan's there trying to figure out who deserves, or who actually bombed Katsura, and Ventress gets sent there with him. Ventress gets sent there by Dooku to essentially make sure Obi-Wan just makes it look more like the Republic did it, and put him in a bad place. And Anakin is on a mission teaching a Jedi initiate her ways. And by the end of it, they both figure things out about each other and about themselves, and how they reflect in each other. And they also talk about the line in Attack of the Clones, where Anakin says, "You're the closest thing I have to a father." There's one more in here. And he says, "You're the closest thing I have to a father," and Obi-Wan talks about it and says, "Well, that's not really true. Qui-Gon Jinn is really more like a father, and him and Anakin are more like they have a better relationship than one of a father. Their relationship is more like that of brothers towards the end of the book." And the things that Obi-Wan didn't teach Anakin are the things that he would have learned from Qui-Gon. Made him a real father figure. What the? Okay. Anyway, I really like the book. Highly recommend. I think you guys should go check it out. I have no idea what other topics we can talk about. I'm still in the middle of reading both Dooku Jedi Lost and Darth Plagueis right now, so I will be talking about those at some point, but probably not anytime very soon. And obviously, like, why? Oh my! And obviously, like, we have no more like new Star Wars content coming out necessarily until Andor comes out. And jeez, was that so? Until Andor comes out on the 31st. So leave me a comment below. Hit me up on Instagram. Give me some ideas for some videos, something that you guys want to see me talk about. Because right now I'm thinking there's not a lot to talk about. in terms of Star Wars, we could talk about Mando Season 3, Ahsoka Season 1. I don't know if you guys have seen the sneak preview trailers for those, but I have, and we can talk about those next week. Or we could talk about just Andor rumors, Book of Boba Fett Season 2 rumors. There's some other things out there, but mostly we're kind of just sitting until Andor. I could also try to finish Dooku Jedi Lost by next week. I don't know if I can or not. I could certainly give it a try. But just let me know what you guys want. I'll probably do a poll on Instagram as well. And I think that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed it, or even if you didn't, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit me up with new ideas. I'm always open to. I want to get to talk to you guys, get to know the community of Star Wars better, and I just hope that you have a great rest of your guys' day. And once again, thanks for talking Star Wars.